Hello and welcome to the Comic Conspiracy episode 106 for the week of April 29th, 2013. My name is Ryan Higgins, who is here with me this week.
Brock Sager.
Toby.
And Charlie.
Toby's apparently a ghost.
Again.
Hello, Ghost Toby.
Yes, I'm here to haunt you all.
Alright, there you go. No Omar this week, no Bryce this week. They got stuff going on. Well, I'm sure they'll be back next week. This is kind of weird. I don't know where I want to start with stuff this week. C2E2, which is the big Chicago con this past weekend. I guess I just want to start here. There was very little news that came out of C2E2, and that's a pretty big comic show.
So people were making up news.
Yeah, well, I know, Charlie, you were really big on this Little Hellboy book coming out that got announced there. I will talk about that in a second. But ComicCon and New York Con and C2E2 and you know, MegaCon and all these ones, they would at least throw something out there. And I find like we've been doing the podcast for a couple of years now, and we must have hit like right when cons stopped making news.
Yeah, it was. I think the first time I went to like even WonderCon, like there was a little bit of news out of WonderCon that year, and that was when Game of Thrones was pumping, saying, "Hey, we're going to be on TV on HBO."
But that's not.
That's not news. That's not news. But that's what was at WonderCon at the time.
See, I do wonder if part of this has to do with timing a little bit, because I remember one year at WonderCon, a lot of stuff came out because Blackest Night was just ending, so there was all that sort of question on Brightest Day, and they at that point they were making all the announcements on like how Hawk and Dove was going to be on Teen Titans at the time, and sort of defining all these new books that were...
Wasn't Hawk and Dove on Birds of Prey?
No, Birds of Prey. Yeah, whatever. My brain's not working.
Well, it's
okay. It just has to do with sort of like this timing. It seems having cons in the middle of events pretty much makes the big two especially just kind of go, well, our event's not done or not even close to done, so we're not really ready to announce anything yet.
Yeah, I mean, DC announced, Nightwing's going to move to Chicago.
Well, he already moved to Chicago.
But they were talking about it.
Yeah, I saw him ride the bike out of Gotham in like a couple Batman books.
Yeah, it's like, all right, that's not really news. Marvel was talking about Infinity, and it's coming, but they can't say anything. They can't tell you anything about it because it hasn't happened yet. There's nothing to announce. So the stuff from Marvel and DC is like non-existent. And yeah, some of the indie companies come up with a couple things. And again, I know, Charlie, you were excited about the
Little Gotham.
Little Gotham.
Little Gotham. Little Hellboy.
But you're also excited about Little Gotham.
Well, I do like Little Gotham.
Because it has Little Damien.
Yes,
now explain who's doing this for everyone at home.
It's Art and Franco from Tiny Titans and All Yeah Comics, and yeah, I don't know. I'm just excited. They tend to do very good books that appeal to me, but I can also hand my kids and let them read. And I do have some love for Hellboy, so
it should be pronounced "Aw Yeah Comics."
Okay, Aw Yeah Comics.
That's what it is.
Yeah,
so which is cool.
I'm excited for it. I mean, I like stuff like that. I like little, and it's only going to be a mini series and stuff, so it's not like you're committing to any long running thing. It's just something nifty. And I like the fact that Mike Mignola is the one that kind of started this, because he'd have these kids come up to his table, and he didn't really have anything to give them since he wasn't about to push Hellboy on these little kids.
Yeah. So I think what we're just seeing these days is that there is no reason for people to announce things at cons when you could announce it on your own website, on your own Tumblr, on your own Twitter, get hits to your own website, promote your other products, whether you're Marvel, DC, or an independent company. There's very little reason to actually have these things and make announcements at cons. I would assume the reason is, everyone else announces things at cons, so if we don't announce things at cons, we announce it on our own, we're not competing. But if no one's announcing things at cons, then, yeah.
I also wonder how much of it just has to do with sort of, typically when you're at a con, stuff is being announced by people who are not necessarily the most PR-friendly people. I mean, these are... Yeah. The realistically, when you get a big announcement outside of a con, it's literally being controlled by the PR departments going through exactly the channels they want the announcement to show up in, and they kind of have a little bit more of control of how it's presented, how it's announced, and what kind of feedback you get even right away.
Yeah, it's a lot easier for them to put it out there and not have people misinterpret it or read into it wrong.
Or ask 50 bajillion random questions that you're not prepared for.
Trust me.
Or get super upset that it's not what they were hoping you were going to announce.
I've been to so many comic panels in my life, and I still like going to them, but when I walk out of every one, it's like, well, that was pretty useless. Because they can't answer anything. People ask just the stupidest questions at these things. Just the most embarrassing, like... It's just bad.
See, I'm always amused because if I actually get up to get in line to ask a question, the person in front of me always happens to ask the question I was going to ask, so I waited in line for nothing.
Yeah, it happens. So, I don't know. I mean, I'm assuming we'll hear, because there was nothing at WonderCon. There's always a few things at San Diego, so, I mean, of course we'll get something, but...
Yeah.
I don't know. Con season's off to a pretty
That's okay.
slow start.
I'm just kind of hoping anything that gets announced actually makes it to publication the same way.
Yeah.
I mean, because New York didn't announce very many toys, did it? Normally, New York is a decent.
Talking about Toy Fair?
No, not Toy Fair. New York Con. Don't they have a decent amount of toys?
You're thinking of Toy Fair. Oh, okay. That's in New York.
Oh, okay.
It's separate.
I don't
from
know.
Toy Fair. Or separate from New York Comic Con.
The thing that's always gotten me excited about like Comic-Con and that kind of stuff when it comes to toys isn't so much on the announcements. It's just when you're wandering the showroom floor, everybody kind of has their little displays that you can look through and like, holy crap, that's going to come out eventually. Yeah. And then there's stuff like the little playset that comes with the con-exclusive Green Lantern figures that they're like, if these sell well enough, we'll make this playset someday. So I'm hoping they do.
All right, well, we got an email here I'm going to read from Eduardo.
Email, it's so archaic.
I still have a handful of them.
Yeah, you should be like crumping up notes and rocks and throwing them at people.
So he's got a few different questions here. I'll read these one at a time. We can answer these. He says, "Gentlemen, it's always an honor. I hope you get this before you record tonight," which was like 2 weeks ago. Ryan mentioned deleting his inbox, which I did. So here are a few questions. One, and these are actually good questions, and I hear these a lot. So hopefully people remember these because I think these are people always ask me this. And if you guys know the answers, pitch in. Why do some comics, specifically older ones, not have any barcode? Rather, a rectangle where the barcode should be. Sometimes in the area shows a talent involved or just a logo. What's going on here? Who knows the answer?
Those were subscriptions.
Incorrect.
No?
No. Well...
I thought they were the subscription-based ones because people used to get stuff in subscription, and the newsstand one was the one that had the barcode, and the subscription one was the one that they got sent to them in a plastic bag.
You were close. That possibly could be it, but that is not what that actually means.
Okay, enlighten us.
Isn't it direct and indirect market?
You are correct. Direct market.
Yeah.
It's not necessarily a subscription. Those are the ones shipped to comic book stores. And which is weird because subscription should have the barcodes because that's going to newsstands and newsstands use barcodes. So back in the day, comics didn't have barcodes. There were no barcodes. But when you got into like the 70s and 80s and they started to barcode the book, those are the ones that you would buy on newsstands. The ones that had like the Spider-Man head or like, 25th anniversary of Batman or whatever the hell it said. Those are actually direct market going directly to comic book stores. Nowadays, there's actually a price difference between direct market and the newsstand. They're different prices. Like the new 52 gatefold covers for the number 19s, the direct market did not have a gatefold cover.
Yeah,
they cut it at the spot or at the crease. So,
and I know like the Death of the Family stuff didn't have the
die cut cover. Yeah. So there's things like that which the direct market, direct comic stores that is. Are different things. So that's the question. So there's no price difference. There's no difference. So it doesn't matter. It's the same with like Marvel. They would have like the diamonds or the squares in the corner. It's the same thing. It's just direct market or newsstand. Depending on the price.
Some of them would have at least on Marvel, the price would be a different size.
Yeah,
it'd say 35 cents, and then it'd be big, and then it'd be like a smaller 35 cents.
Well, they did...
Or the box was a little different up top.
Well, that's a few things. Marvel did experiment on 30-cent and 35-cent prices when the books are 25 cents and 30 cents, so they're actually 5 cents more expensive, and they were very limited, and only certain areas of the country got those books. And those are actually worth a lot of money because they have very, very low print runs. They're the 30-cent and 35-cent variants. Those are always more expensive. Those little price tags, that was I think a certain month or two where the book was printed wrong. There's something weird about that.
Oh, okay.
I've seen that where it's the price is really tiny.
Yeah, and then some of them it's big.
Yeah. Sometimes that's just a printing error.
Oh.
So, his second question, and this is another one I hear a lot. Under the barcode, it shows a month and a year. The date is usually several months ahead of publishing dates. What's that about? So if you look on a book right now, it should say June on the current books.
Mm-hmm. That's the pull date.
You are correct. That is the date newsstands pull the books off the shelf. So it's a throwback. Again, it's a throwback to the old newsstand. I don't know why they still do it, but technically they're still newsstands, and technically they still publish them that way. So those are the dates that newsstands are supposed to return the books. So at the end of that month, they return them all.
So just so you know, when it hits that month, you can go and buy it digitally for far less than what the cover price is.
No, even before that.
At comicsconspiracy. Or digital.comicsconspiracy.biz.
Well, even before that, because they do it 30 days later. So he has a more general question here. The Grimm Fairy Tale Omnibus is being released soon. What are our opinions on the series and Zenescape, which is the publishing company, overall? I've read a few issues and I've enjoyed them. I never hear anyone talk about Zenescope or Grimm Fairy Tales, but they're always on the shelf at my shop. I'm thinking about jumping on board with the Omnibus. The universe seems huge, and the other series also seem appealing. I've read very, very few of them. I just never really got into it. It's a little... Porny's not the right title. It's just the covers. The covers are very fan servicey.
Well,
and I
that's
think
why they sell.
Yeah.
And that's why you always see them in comic book shops, because they move.
Yeah, I think people... I don't think the series... The ones I read were not super fan servicey, but the covers are. And I think that throws people off from what the books actually are kind of about. Because I know a few people that are really big fans of those books, and there's a lot of them now. They publish 8 series a month now. There's a ton of Grimm Fairy Tales.
Aren't they local here?
Zenescope?
Zenescope's San Francisco.
Are they?
Yeah.
It's Zenescope's
I didn't know
Coppola's comic company.
Huh?
Coppola?
Francis Ford?
Uh-huh.
Really?
What?
Yeah, isn't it?
What?
No.
I didn't know that. I just
Okay, now there's some random information being...
I don't know anything about that.
From C2,
Because he
E2.
owns... I thought he owned Zenescope, and he's up in the city. And I thought that was part of their...
No.
So I
He
can't...
does own a winery. Coppola is into wine. He has a whole winery going on.
I know he has a winery. His wine's okay.
I don't know anything about Francis Ford Coppola owning. No.
Yeah, that's not his style at all.
No. Yeah, I don't know anything about that.
I would be really surprised if he did own it.
Let's consult the Oracle.
The mighty interwebs.
The mighty Wikipedia here. I've never heard of
I was going to say, that doesn't seem like a great
I wasn't
fit.
even sure on it. I thought they were semi-local.
What's his production company? Xeno something.
the guy Ralph Tedesco, who's the writer on Grimm Fairy Tales. I'm pretty sure he's at some form involved, but I don't know. He has nothing to do with. He has nothing to do
If
with
it's the same name, it's by accident.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, no, nothing to do with it. I just haven't read enough, so.
Neither have I. They put out a nice hardcover a couple of years ago, and I mean, it looked like a good hardcover. So if it's a omnibus hardcover release similar to that, it may be worth checking out.
My
that
thing
way.
is, I mean, I'm a big art guy, and while sometimes I collect some of the covers, but the minute I kind of skimmed through it, I was like, yeah, no, sorry.
Yeah. I mean, it's just
happy for the fans who got into it and found it. So good for the company and good for the fans. But
yeah, it's got a pretty loyal fan base. I mean, like I said, I do know. I know a few people that have sort of compared it to like. I mean, it's kind of like Fables. You're sort of in the same realm as something like Fables. Maybe, clearly not to the same degree, I would think. And no offense meant to the book, but it's just, I
kind of feel like it's the old Chaos group that's collecting these comics now.
Probably.
Yeah.
I could see that. A lot of those guys moved on to this.
Yeah.
It makes sense. It's similar.
I mean, that's what makes them happy. And
Sure. Yeah.
all good.
All right.
Like I say, I even collected some of the covers.
No, I mean, some of the covers are awesome. Like,
you got Ali Garza doing covers. You got E-Bass doing covers. You got J. Scott
saw,
Campbell doing covers. And David Tanaka is a pretty good one too.
Man, if you wanted to buy every cover the Zenescope puts out every month, it would be probably $2,000 a month.
Yeah, you'd be buying like basically all the Marvel and all the DC books almost.
They have not only variant covers, they have like these crazy rare covers, crazy like costume switch covers. Like there's a ton of them, but people buy them, man. I sell them and people buy them. There's a lot.
I saw something on the internet the other day about what if Disney villains were beautiful. And as I saw the comparisons, here's Jafar, and this is an artist drawing of Jafar looking like a handsome. All I thought of
Jafar is handsome, man. What's wrong with him? Huh? Why are you talking smack about Jafar?
All I kept thinking was,
what's wrong with you? He's got a parrot.
All I kept thinking about it was, man, if they want a handsome or pretty villains, just read Grimm Fairy Tales.
Yeah. All right, here's one from Kyle on Twitter. We actually have a couple of things to talk about news-wise. I'll throw them in here while we read some questions. He says our thoughts on DC's Channel 52 news. Is there news on Channel 52?
No, the end of the issues have that
the end
page.
Yeah. They got some good art on that stuff.
Yeah, but
it's kind of a neat idea since it does highlight what's happening in that particular week worth of...
But hold on. I have one major problem with it, though. So it kind of has this fake news report of stuff that happened in all the DC comics that week, but it doesn't tell you what any of these comics are.
Yeah, I definitely concur with that. I personally read it the first week, then I stopped reading it.
I actually read it every week.
I never read it,
and every week it keeps getting worse and worse and worse. And it's
so what you're saying is I jumped off at the right time.
No, you actually jumped off you shouldn't have jumped off because it's actually funny going through and reading these because I'm not Charlie. I don't read all the DC titles, but just reading enough of a decent chunk of these titles, I'm reading through and I'm like, oh, really? And there's times where they say something about a book that I'm like, that shit didn't happen. It is horrid. And it's
well, it's Ambush Bug, so Keith Giffen is clearly writing
the
it.
Funny thing is Ambush Bug is the only one that tries to be funny, but the rest of the people fuck it up.
That's what I said. It's clearly Keith Giffen writes this because Ambush Bug's in it. He's the only one that has ever written Ambush Bug.
I think the best part was when the head anchor lady says, I need to cry because Damien was dead. I was like, blah.
Cat Grant. So yeah, that Channel 52 thing is bizarre, and I don't get it. Yeah. I don't get why they waste their time. But whatever.
Read it. I honestly read it if you want to read something bad.
It'll be gone as fast as DC's letter column. He also wants us to discuss our Iron Man 3 wish lists. And I have one wish, which a friend of mine has told me has been granted, and not that it's no spoiler or anything like that. But it's open in the UK. It's open overseas. It's open everywhere but the fucking United States. And I have a couple friends that live over there who have said, absolutely no spoilers, but Iron Man 3 is as good as 1. It's as good as the Avengers. It is awesome. And to me, I'm like, yes. And these aren't guys that like everything. Trust me. These are guys
these are guys that hated Green Lantern.
They hated Green Lantern.
Okay, so they know what they're talking about.
So you can listen to them. Yeah. Even though, I hate their guts, but, I mean, what can you do? No, so...
They like Daredevil.
I don't know. Probably not.
Just kidding.
So... I trust these guys.
Well, that's the thing is, a couple of my friends, like you said, they say go watch it, and I'm like, but the trailers, don't worry about the trailer. The trailer, whoever did the trailers was stupid and didn't do a good job.
The trailer's awesome.
The trailers don't do anything though.
What are you talking about? It's awesome.
Crash. Okay, let's fly this way and crash.
That's perfect.
Let's fly this. It doesn't really.
How many times have you watched a movie where you don't even need to watch a movie anymore? Or how many times have you watched a trailer where you don't need to watch the movie anymore? I'd rather see explosions, some fucking, sexy stuff, and then go watch the movie and enjoy it. I don't want to know anything.
Yeah, me neither. I heard the plane scene is absolutely incredible. And it just makes me think if it can match the opening to Dark Knight Returns, or Dark Knight Rises, because, man, that scene was so good.
Oh, yes.
So we'll see if that's any good.
Without very much CG.
Yeah. This is actually a great question here from...
Well, aren't we going to be discussing Iron Man 3 next episode?
Yeah. Iron Man 3, next episode.
Well, what's the wish
crossing
list,
my
I don't
fingers.
understand that question.
Well, just what do you
What's your wish list? What do you hope they do or don't do? Or...
Oh.
Yeah, I mean, I just hope it's a good quality film.
Yeah. Better than the second one, Toby?
Nah, the second one's garbage. Sorry.
I disagree.
Black Widow was friggin' hot, but beyond that, yeah, the second one's garbage.
No. Any event,
and I like Jon Favreau. So sorry, John, if you ever see me, don't punch me in the face, please. I like you a lot.
Actually, you wouldn't mind him punching you in the face.
No, he looks like a big dude. He might punch really well.
Well, he did do those boxing episodes in Friends.
Yeah. That's
or the Ultimate Fighter episode.
I don't know. My whole thing about comic book movies is I just go to a movie for the love of a character. As long as they get the character, which they've shown they get Tony Stark, I kind of walk out happy.
Yeah.
Sure.
Did you guys hear the rumor about Gwyneth Paltrow saying that this is the last one?
Yeah.
She kind of let the cat out of the bag accidentally.
Well, but there's been a lot of talk recently since, from what I understand, this was the last one that Robert Downey Jr. is under contract for at this point.
Yeah. Well, again, the internet could be full of shit, and usually is full of shit, that Tony will be around for a bit, but this may be the last Iron Man movie, and then for a while they're going to just keep Tony around in the other movies a little bit.
Be fine.
Yeah.
We go in here from Stefano, who asks, what's your all-time favorite superhero comic crossover / team-up? That's a good question. Crossover. I'm going to have to think about this.
I hate that word.
Crossover? Why?
Well,
normally it has at least bad taste in your mouth.
To me, it really depends on if you mean team-up is sort of different than crossover to me, because crossover means like Marvel and DC crossing over, or franchises crossing over. Or, I mean, if you want to talk franchises, I still love the Doctor Who, Star Trek The Next Gen. So,
well, you could just have a crossover, like, Infinite Crisis or Civil War or something. As your big event book. So.
Yeah.
How about team up? What's a good team up?
Star Trek X-Men.
I think that falls on a crossover.
Yeah. Oh, they're teamed up. I don't know. No,
I think we're in the point now where the crossovers and team-ups are just... I don't want to say they're overplayed, but...
They're not special?
Yeah. Because, I mean, none of us are reading comics, but clearly, Marvel or DC rarely had these characters cross over, and if they did, it was like the Justice League or the Justice Society, and they basically went their own way and then came back at the end of the issue. Marvel had so many crossovers with their characters in the early days that by the time you hit in the 80s and 90s, now the big events would be crossover.
Oh, we're talking like in their company?
Whatever.
Cross company. Like,
well,
I like the
was
Superman,
sort of the
Spider-Man one, like the old one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really love that one.
But again, that was the first time they've done anything like that. I'm saying I feel now that the crossovers are not only overdone, they're almost expected and forced. Like you would make no sense to have a Marvel or DC comic without other characters showing up, which is funny because DC, except for the family crossovers that they've done, have kind of shied away, with the exception of Flash this month, who's apparently in every other book.
Yep.
They kind of have shied away from the more kind of casual crossover where every Marvel book has every Marvel character in it, like all the time. I
kind of love the old days. I mean, my first Spider-Man comic book was Punisher was in it, and it was cool because they actually set guest starring the Punisher with the Punisher like written in the logo. It's usually written in it, and that kind of as a kid introduced me to new characters. Kind of, ooh, who's that guy?
Yeah, we're just not in that world anymore.
No,
I think my favorite crossovers recently are the ones that do sort of catch you off guard, like the Batwoman, Wonder Woman with the world. Like, that was a awesome crossover that kind of worked for both characters, even though they don't... Their style of books and what they had done, you didn't really expect to see Wonder Woman in Batwoman and so on. And... I don't know. There's definitely just certain things like that.
I guess we could say crossover spans over multiple issues, whereas a team up kind of is like a one and done or a two and done.
Sure.
So, I don't know. Recently, I don't know. I love the crossover with Animal-Man, Swamp Thing, and Frankenstein.
Yeah.
With the Rot World stuff.
Yeah. My only problem is that went a little long. Yeah. Like. I was very...
Charlie, you should be in heaven with crossover books. I mean, the Lanterns I mean, you got the Green Lantern, the Green Lantern Corps, you got New Guardians,
well, that's what I meant.
Red Lantern.
It's not really a crossover because it's always been a crossover.
Yeah.
It may not be a numbered one, but
it may not be the Superman numbered ones.
Those books have always tied in.
Yeah.
So Walzo here on Twitter asks, how do you feel about Infinity? And I'm assuming he's talking about the new Marvel event book that hasn't started yet. So I have no feelings on it.
My general statement is there's just love the Infinity Gauntlet and all that. So just calling something Infinity instantly makes me go, I'm going to check this out.
It's Hickman. It's Avengers, so it's at least half good.
Was it Avengers or is it the Illuminati?
It's the Avengers. It's... well, like I said, it's the Avengers, so it's at least half good. Imagine not been digging the main Avengers book at all. New Avengers is fantastic, but the main Avengers book, blech. And it's Infinity Gauntlet.
I love how we were saying good things about the main Avengers book like 2 or 3 issues ago, and now we're back to blah.
Not me.
Yeah, I never was. Ryan wasn't.
The first couple.
There was one issue, like I remember we panned the first issue, and then we got to like one of the
it was the one with
issues.
Oh God, who was the main character in that issue? The girl, the new
Captain Universe.
No, was it? No, was the one before that? I can't remember. That was a good issue.
Yeah,
but ever since, bleh.
No, I agree. It's not my favorite book by far.
But Hickman, Thanos, Gauntlet, New Avengers. Yes, I'm in. New Avengers are great. So I cannot wait. This is from Scott. He asked, is it wrong that I stopped going to my local comic shop because they act like elitist jerks and switch to online ordering instead? No, you're not wrong, Scott. We're elitist jerks here sometimes too, but I try not to take it out on the customers too much. Just on this podcast.
You just take it out on us.
Oh, I take it out on the customers that
deserve it.
No.
No, but there's
no one deserves it.
There's a general camaraderie that you get within the shop here, and once you really get to know each other, there's definitely a certain amount of those little sort of friendly customer.
Yeah, Scott. Scott Shea, who's been on this podcast once or twice, one of my long time customers, came up to me the other day and he's like, yeah, I think I just need to drop Batman Incorporated, Action, and something else. And he was like, yeah, just Grant Morrison shit. I just can't deal with it anymore. And I'm like, all right, get out of the store. You're done. You know, that type of thing, right? He legitimately doesn't really like them. So I was, I'm just griefing him. And we're all friends, so that's cool. But no, if
it's like I'm sure people have heard Bryce and I get into it a little bit over the whole Marvel DC stuff. If I didn't know Bryce as well as I did, I'd just sort of be like, okay,
no, if
you like that, I like my stuff. But
look, if a customer I know that I talk to every week that I'm good friends with and comes in and he asks me my opinion, or I'm poking fun. I got a guy, Chuck, that's here every week, and he's a hardcore Marvel guy, and everyone knows I'm a hardcore DC guy. And I'm always ribbing. I'm always like, and he ribs me back.
It's all in good fun. It's you do it because because it's part of the social network
But we bond over Doctor Who, so we don't fight. We don't fight that much. But if you walk up and a guy's like, you're buying this, and like you don't know the guy behind the counter, don't ever go to that store again because that's ridiculous. You never treat a customer like that. I would never insult anything a customer is buying. Joking with friends is something totally different. If they're being jerks about it, if they won't order you something, hell, I don't want to say this publicly, but I picked a book written by a guy, I don't remember his name, but the book was drawn by Frank Quitely this past week. Maybe you guys have heard this writer, Mark Millar.
Okay.
I don't know who this guy is, but I got a lot of friendly ribbing from customers for picking this book, and I was like, well, dude, I'm picking this Frank Quitely book. I mean, I've never heard of the writer. I have no idea who he is, but that was my pick of the week. So, you gotta dish it out and you gotta take it, but.
Do you know what I find the funniest thing in some ways from especially customers that I know fairly well?
What's that?
A lot of times, it's sort of like Bryce with picking up the Extreme X-Men and those kind of books. Like, occasionally I'll just be like, I'm like, has this been pretty good lately? And I was like, no, it's been complete crap.
It's we get I've gotten a couple guys in on Thursdays where it's like, they're like, you look at what they're getting and you're like, really? You're this is good? And they're like, Don't remind me. It's like it's being canceled like in the next 2 issues. I'm like, no, it's okay. I understand. Just realize you'll be free of it in 2 issues. Like, well, that's true.
I'm always wondering, honestly, a lot of this stuff, like, when I drop something, it doesn't mean that I haven't stopped being curious if they've managed to turn it around, especially if it's still going for X amount of issues afterwards. So I just find it amusing when I literally ask, because I'm kind of hoping they'll say, no, it turned a corner and it started getting really good, so I can go back and look at it. But most of the time I ask that question, it's like, no, it's pretty horrible. But
most of the time it's a Marvel title, right?
All right, so here's one from Here's Villains on Twitter. Who asked a question that leads in very nice to one of our news stories this week. What comic book?
Your news story.
What comic book and related websites do you like to pursue when you're bored? And my answer to that is, well, not Comics Alliance. So, this past today, I guess over the weekend, actually, a very popular comic website called ComicSalliance.com had not really been updating, and they canceled all their C2E2 events, and then they found out today that AOL actually shut them down. They're owned by AOL. They're one of their AOL's comic site. Without getting into my personal reasons for not really liking the site.
Just shut up and give them your personal reasons.
No. I just didn't agree with a lot of the stuff on the site. I found it was very snarky. I felt a lot of the stuff was, I don't need a press release machine, but I disagreed with a lot of their stuff on their more political and editorial side. And the head editor left and joined Wired, I think, late last year. And honestly, the site was not my favorite, but at least I gave them credit for doing what they were doing before, even if I often disagreed with their statements. They just, you go look at it now, it's link blogging, cosplay pics, it's the same, 1 or 2 reviews. It's done. It was done months ago, but AOL pulled the plug on it, so there you go. I know a lot of people really like Comics Alliance. I don't know. Charlie, did you, Toby, did you guys ever really go to it or anything?
Not regularly.
I actually thought we were talking about the distributor up to this point. So
Alliance?
Yeah. No. I thought we were talking about them. Was very confused this whole time. Okay, never mind.
After Bleeding Cool and Comic Resources, I think there's a pretty big drop before you start to hit any other. I guess Newsarama is still up. But man, Newsarama crashed and burned years ago, and it never recovered. They don't do a lot of good stuff. And honestly, neither does really does Comic Resources or Bleeding Cool.
If you have a RSS feed and you have Bleeding Cool and Comic Resources, you're literally getting repeated. One says one thing and that says, so it's like half of the posts are.
But like we were talking, Bleeding Cool, I'm sorry, doesn't do press releases, didn't do any of that stuff. It's quote unquote a rumor site still. But like we were talking about with the cons, there's no reason for these people to give them anything now, because you can go on Marvel.com or DC.com or ImageComics.com and you can see it all there. Yeah. So they're basically just like a link blog, and the amount of Comic Resources is a lot more original material because they have a number of blogs and blog communities within their site.
Yeah.
So they have Robot 6, they have Comics Should Be Good, they have a number of these.
They have like the Tilting at the Windmills, which is like the monthly thing.
That's an article. I'm talking about basically sites that Comic Resources kind of bought up and put within them. So they have a number of different creative outlets within their own company. So they produce more original material. Bleeding Cool, despite the amount of rumors and leak stuff being pretty minimal these days, they still get a few things. But
the Right or Wrong by Danny Manning.
Oh, yeah.
They're kind of a writer's blog thing.
I
like reading those. They're pretty informative, and he gives a lot of insight on things. It's kind of cool.
Yeah, I just think most news websites are just, here's what a guy said on Twitter, right? It's almost like we get the news directly from the creators now. They don't need this media.
Like CBRs are TMZ?
Yeah. No, not even that. There was no TMZ for I guess that would be Bleeding Cool, but he doesn't name names, so it's not the same. The comic community is just so small. I go to Bleeding Cool and Comic Resource, and I would go to Comics Alliance occasionally, and I go to these other ones. I would go multiple times a day. Always reloading, but I find I read very little. Yeah. So
no, it's same for me. I have Bleeding Cool on my RSS feed. I have Comic Resources, and it's like, oh, they doubled up. I don't really care. I only read maybe 1 or 2 things a day.
Well, the headlines, the amount of link baiting they do is very minimal.
Yeah.
So.
I don't know. I guess
really minimal too.
Yeah.
I guess the thing I find kind of funny is with a lot of these, I can kind of, as you said, they make a big announcement on DCComics.com, and I'll find it, and then like within 5-10 minutes, all of a sudden, it's on Bleeding Cool, it's on Newsarama, but they don't actually mention that it was just like, it's this whole, we're retyping it up so we can publish this as our news, and
Right.
I don't know, I'm not really a big fan of a lot of that.
Well, that's just like link blogging, right?
Yeah.
You're just blogging links to other stuff, and that's fine.
Well, my thing is just, I guess my thing, I don't really like calling it, this is exclusive to our side, or this is our story, when you're literally just poaching somebody else's story.
Well,
like,
I mean, I think it goes back to the stuff at the cons. It's like these companies are no longer giving, they're no longer giving, comic, create or not, like comic book journalism and stuff like that. Anything. They're not giving. They're giving no news. They're not giving out anything.
Well,
DC.
They don't have to. That was Ryan's point all along.
yeah. I mean, the days of the Comics Journal being a giant thing where these guys could actually go through and find news and do these giant long interviews, like it's all gone. I mean, Wizard Magazine started the end of it and made it all flashy, and there's your TMZ, I guess. But not even that, because they're not saying bad things about anyone. It's all good stuff. So, yeah, I mean, comics journalism. The extent of comic journalism is reviews, and I don't like reading reviews and interviews. But the interviews are processed through PR people, and they can't say anything because the announcements all come from, it's like, oh, well, this is what I think about creating this character. That's nice and all, but that's not, people are reading it to find something out, and there's never anything.
Yeah, because, you always hear the artist going, I can finally show you this artwork that I've been having to sit on for 3 weeks.
Well, like we were talking about that B&B series of articles from DC and the Alex Alonso one from Marvel as well last week, I think. I mean, I think the Alex Alonso one is actually pretty interesting because he is the editor-in-chief of Marvel, and he actually does... I think it's more than just beating around the bush. I mean, I think he actually does say some good stuff in there, and I try to read it every week, but very few and far between.
I don't know. I think the only time I really like when Morrison killed Damien, and that there were a couple of interviews that popped up with him, and I enjoyed reading those. I enjoyed reading him talking about sort of going back to how he approached when he first started writing Batman, and he had planned to kill him a lot. Like, stuff like that I like reading. I like getting a little more information that way. But when it's just about sort of promoting the book, but they can't really give away what's going to happen in the book, yeah. I scanned through that real quick and went, yeah, this isn't grabbing me, and then move on to the next thing.
Yeah. Well, Comics Alliance is gone, and I'm sure a lot of those writers will end up somewhere else, so... actually, this is a procurement. We'll do the other kind of news story that hit us last week. Image announced their Image Expo 2013. Kind of. I mean, they announced it, but Image did an Image Expo last year, which actually had like retailers and booths and stuff, and it was very sparsely attended, but everyone said it was friggin' amazing.
I think it was because it was sparsely attended, so people
it's very short.
Well, people
notice.
had time to... People had time to interact with creators and stuff.
Right. So this was in Oakland, I believe, last year, if I'm not mistaken. This year it's in San Francisco.
I want to say it was 2 years ago. Am I wrong?
No, it was last year.
I think Toby was right. I think it was 2 years ago.
Have we had 2 WonderCons since then?
Because it happened right after...
Because I was waiting for it to happen again, and it didn't, I want to say. So I thought it was 2 years ago.
Yeah, I thought it was 2011.
No, 2012. Image Comic Expo, November.
Really?
Friday, February 24th through Sunday, February 26th, 2000.
So a year and a half, year and 3 months, 4 months.
Yeah. But this one is different. This actually was announced at the retailer. Actually, the retailer panels at C2E2 had more announcements than the actual con, which I found was funny. It'll be in San Francisco. It'll be a paid ticket event, so it's something you have to buy a ticket to. Retailers are invited for free, so that's cool. But it's like a press event.
Huh?
It's not a convention. It's like a press event, which means they're going to have announcements and stuff. But they said there's not going to be tables, not going to be booths, there's not going to be set up like a con. And it's on July 2nd, which is a Tuesday, which I don't know if Image is aware.
It's really just panels and panels and panels.
I don't even think it's panels.
Yeah.
I think it's just a press, like just talking to the press and people can be there. And I'm sure they're going to sell shit.
Yeah.
But Tuesday is retailers' busiest day. I would argue most retailers' busiest day. Wednesday, you're selling the books, but Tuesday, you're processing the books, and that's a lot harder.
Well, here.
No, everywhere.
Oh, everywhere. No.
Well, almost every store.
Oh,
yeah, they have Tuesday delivery for most stores now.
Because I went to LA once and I tried to get a job at a comic book shop there, and they actually get it delivered Wednesday morning, but I guess it changed.
Yeah, a couple years ago. Now all the stores have Tuesday delivery if they want them. I don't know what this is or why they're doing it. Tickets go on sale in a couple days, so I guess hopefully they announce something.
Well, I mean, to me it's odd because it's on a Tuesday.
Yeah,
and if it's an event at night, that's great. But
no, it'd be a day event. If it's a press event, it's a day event.
Okay, I mean, I don't know.
Yeah,
you're not going.
I don't.
Brock is like, oh shit, Ryan's thinking about going.
I mean,
all the books.
I mean, I could depending on how it's set up, but I don't know. So,
like, to me, I'm just, as you say, interested in a little more information because they haven't even announced a price for tickets or anything at this point.
Nothing.
$300.
If it's just a press event and that kind of stuff, like, is it a 2-hour thing? Is it a 1 hour? Is it like?
I mean,
it could be anything.
For $500, you get to touch Grant Morrison's cheek.
Yeah, I mean, I have no idea.
No, I think that's Morrison Con for next year.
For $600, you get to touch it all.
Yeah, I have no idea.
That says Grant Morrison on it.
So here's one for you, Toby. You'll like this one.
Okay. Is it about the Warriors? Because they're doing fucking awesome.
No, this is about something people care about. This is from Jim.
I like it when he says people care about it. Like, the amount of people that watch the Warriors over dominates the entire comic book market.
I know. This is from Jim, who asks, what films have you seen in the theater this summer? For him, it's Man of Steel, Iron Man 3, and Pacific Rim. He actually gave us a nice little list here of all the summer 2013 movies.
So, are we going to say yay or nay?
So I'll go down the list of the big ones here. Okay. There's a lot of small ones, and I'm sure we're going to miss a bunch of stuff.
He's listing what are we going to see or not see, or basically he's seeing what we're excited about.
Yeah, well, those are the three that he's excited for.
All right,
so let's go down the list here. So first big one, Iron Man 3.
Yeah,
of course.
I'm excited. Yeah.
Everyone at this table is going to go see that. Again, like I said, I know I'm going to miss a bunch of stuff here, but let's do the big ones. Great Gatsby. I have no interest.
No.
None interest.
I'm actually curious because I know Toby and Leo are really good friends. Have been wanting to do a project together for years now, so I'm actually kind of curious. And plus, I like Carey Mulligan.
I have a feeling I'm going to be dragged to it by my girlfriend because she loves what's his face,
the director guy.
The director, yeah, but we'll see.
Oh, he's doing good stuff. I'm actually curious about it.
Yeah,
I'm curious, but not
my
excited.
movie ticket money is carefully allocated for comic book movies only.
Yeah, years ago, I actually worked with Tobey Maguire, and Leo was on set. I know for a fact they've been dying to work together. So, and if two guys in that caliber want to work together, they pick a right project, because I know Tobey Maguire really, really picks his projects too.
Yeah, they were both bummed they missed out on Brokeback Mountain.
No, this was a big one. Never heard of this, and I'm assuming it's going to be the worst thing ever. But Tyler Perry presents Peoples, and I'm not even going to go any further because Tyler Perry is terrible. Star Trek in the Darkness.
Oh yeah,
coming up May 17th.
Let me think about this for a second. Yes.
Okay. There we go. Let's see.
So you saw
Did I ever give you your ticket for that?
Oh, I didn't even know I'm going with you. I forgot by now. Am I going with you? Okay.
I think you're going with me.
All right. I'm down.
May 24th. The new 3D animated show. It actually looks okay. Epic.
Oh, I'm all over that one.
It looks okay.
Come on, that looks awesome.
I don't think I'll see it in the theater, but
what is wrong with you?
Well, here's when you're going to see it in the theater.
Well, did you fucking like Fern Gully? I think this is like an epic version of Fern Gully.
Well, here's one for you, Toby. Fast and Furious 6.
Fuck yeah!
Same day as Epic, yeah.
Hell yeah. Well, fuck Epic.
Didn't they just announce Fast and Furious 7?
Yes,
Yeah, I'm
really made about it, actually.
The seventh one's going to be the bad one, okay?
No, I'm dead serious at this point, actually. They were done with the franchise by the second movie.
Yeah.
They literally were, and they gave Justin Lin, who's an independent director, going, hey, here's this franchise, kind of do whatever we want. They all expected to just go direct to video. He kind of like rejuvenated the whole franchise with no stars, like, no Vin Diesel, no Paul. They were like, wait a minute, we're doing something here. Let's just give this guy a shot here. They gave him the stars back. He made a success. Then he made another one. They go, oh, wait a minute, now we're making money again. Well, you know what? We're going to pump another one next year. And Justin is like, I'm still editing freaking this one. I can't do pre-production of the next one. Well, too bad for you. We're going to move on.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's fucked up. I mean, like, you got the guy that actually, brought the franchise back, and they're going to move on without him.
Yeah. Okay, now Hangover Part 3. I never actually saw the first two, so... Yeah.
I saw the first one. I didn't have any interest in the second one.
Yeah.
And I don't even know where the third one is.
I have no idea.
It's back in Vegas. First one was okay. I know a lot of people loved it, but I think it's just okay. Second one was horrible because it's really just the first one all over again, but worse.
All those movies are Netflix movies to me.
Yeah, but The Hangovers 3 I'm actually really curious about, but I will not watch it in the theaters probably.
Okay, May 31st is After Earth, which no way in hell no.
No.
That looks terrible.
No, it's not the Will Smith one, right? With the kid?
Well, that's also the, what's the director's name? Which they're not mentioning once that he's directing it. Oh my god, the guy from friggin' that did all that terrible stuff. A really, really terrible director. Why can't I remember his name now? M. Night Shyamalan. Yeah. However, something I do really want to see, although I don't know if I've seen the theater, but I do want to see it. Now You See Me. It's the magician con job, where they're like the magicians and they do all these like heists and stuff. Looks pretty cool. June 7th is The Internship and The Purge. I'd never heard of either of those, so
Nope.
there you go.
I want to say Fast and Furious is a lot sooner. Isn't it opening like next week?
Yeah. That was yeah.
Oh, okay.
Wednesday, June 12th. Wednesday. This Is the End. Hell yes.
I'm not watching it in the theater.
Oh my god. I am so excited for that.
Wait, in hell?
This is the end. This is the end of the world
the big
Hollywood movie with
Seth Rogen and stuff like that.
and James Franco and Jonah Hill and all these people as themselves. Hell yes.
Yeah, I'm
I don't need to see it in the theater, but I'll watch it.
I'll
watch it at home.
I will definitely see that in the theater. And then, of course, June 14th. We're actually all going to be there June 13th. Man of Steel. No questions asked.
Yeah. I'll watch it with no pants on.
Friday, June 21st.
We should watch it with our underwear on the outside.
Yeah.
Not anymore. June 21st. Monsters University, maybe.
I'll go see it.
I'll see it.
Dude, it's Pixar. I gotta go see it.
I'll go see it.
That. World War Z, no. No. World War Z?
Yeah.
The zombie one. The book is really good.
Have you read the book?
You
don't read.
Seen the trailers?
Hey, I've seen the Iron Man trailers.
Fine.
Don't talk smack about the Iron Man.
All right, well,
the first rule of comic
I'm looking forward to World War Z.
Do not talk shit about Iron Man 3 trailer.
Have fun with that. Okay, on June 20th, The Heat and White House Down. I've never heard of either of those. So
no.
whatever.
Nope.
July 20th.
White House Down looks really bad. I'm sorry.
I have no idea.
It looks like the same movie as Olympus Fallen with a prettier guy in the main role.
July 3rd, Despicable Me 2. Nah.
I might take my kids to that.
Yeah.
You know, I thought I was going to like the first one, but I didn't. Yeah,
I did.
I was kind of regretting buying that Blu-ray.
And Lone Ranger, which I actually kind of do want to see.
Which one?
Lone Ranger.
Oh, fuck yeah. Dude, it's Gore Verbinski.
Yeah, I kind of do.
What's wrong with you, dude? I lost respect for you. Sorry, Brock.
July 12th, Grown Ups 2, but Pacific Rim.
Yep.
Yeah, that new trailer.
Toby? No? What?
I'm not feeling it.
Mr. Kaiju, Mr. Freaking Giant Monster
It
fighting.
might have something to do with it.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not feeling it.
Mr. Ultraman himself
You're
over there?
You're far more excited than I ever
my
was.
God.
Ever since the first trailer, you were jumping up and down. I'm like,
I watched the first trailer. I was like, this seems cool, and I hate that shit.
I didn't even think it's cool. I was like,
Toby, you're an actual otaku. How do you not interested in this?
I don't think I really am. I really don't think I am. I mean, I just happen to grow up with this
We've lost respect for Toby.
Fuck no.
I haven't lost respect for him. I just think he hasn't fully processed it yet.
Yeah.
It's just too big.
I gotta skip a bunch of these movies because I've never heard of any of these. R.A.P.D., which is technically based on the comic book. No. Red 2. No. I have no interest in either
I
of
liked
those.
the first Red.
I didn't watch it.
It was fun.
Again, it really comes down to I'll Netflix almost anything, but I'm not going to spend money in theaters. For
I'm not
going to
watch it in theaters, but
July 26th, The Wolverine.
Oh, I will go see
watch
that in the
I'll
theater.
I'll go watch.
I will. That's one of those sort of like movies where I'm just like, I'm gonna roll the dice. This has I want this to be good.
It's gonna get pre-released on the internet nets with like green screens and a different score.
Yeah. Here's one for Toby.
And it will look superior than when they
Dude,
had the
I'm
effects.
to this day I still actually prefer the internet version of Wolverine just because I like the music better. The temp music that was from Transformers they used in there and stuff like that. No, it was cool. I actually prefer that one than the actual theatrical release or the real release.
All right, let's power through a few of these.
Yeah,
July 31st, Toby, Smurfs 2.
Fuck yes.
August 2nd, Two Guns. I don't know what that is.
Yes.
But 300.
No, Two Guns. Let's go back to that one.
Oh, what that
Denzel and Marky Mark
Ow.
with the hot chick from Mission Impossible 4. I'm all over that one. And isn't it Antoine Fuqua? I could be wrong. I think it's Antoine Fuqua was awesome too.
Percy Jackson, whatever, Planes. Elysium, I've never seen the
Planes.
trailer for.
I'll go see Planes.
I've not seen
Pixar?
the trailer for It's not Pixar.
Hey, Percy
It's
Jackson
Disney.
was okay.
Oh, yeah, the Disney one.
Yeah, Elysium, I've heard, it looks badass. I heard the trailer is awesome. I have not seen it yet, though. Man, there's a ton of comic book movies out this year. August 16th is Kick-Ass 2. I mean, I'm not going to see it, but
I'm not
there it
going to
is.
see it. I'll celebrate my birthday, but I'm not going to go see that piece of shit.
And there's a bunch of other crap here that I'm not
Well,
going to
What's the other crap? Just read it down fast.
Probably won't see it in the theater, but it will be high on my Netflix list.
We're the Millers, Paranoia, The To-Do List, The Mortal Instruments, You're Next. However, one that I do want to see, The World's End. Simon Pegg, Nick Frost by Edgar Wright. That's going to be the second best End of the World movie this year. Right after This Is the End. Dude, Simon Pegg and Nick Frost.
Yeah.
I have to go see
They're-
that.
That's a great
So-
duo.
Isn't Thor coming this year?
November.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm waiting for him to get to Thor.
This is summer. This is just through August. So
Yeah.
yeah. So that's it. So a lot more movies than I thought I was going to go see.
Yeah, so for me, Iron Man, Man of Steel, Fast and Furious.
No.
Those are your big three?
I think so.
I think my big three would be Man of Steel, Iron Man 3, and toss-up, I think, between... it'd be Star Trek.
Oh!
Yeah.
If
I have a big four.
Big three. If I go three, it's Man of Steel, Star Trek, and Pacific Rim.
Yeah.
Although This Is the End and the Nick Frost Simon Pegg one are right there. As much as I'm excited for Iron Man 3, kind of a known quantity. I'm not going on my way.
I might
for
have
that.
to drop Iron Man for Star Trek.
Yeah.
But Fast and Furious, for comic book lovers, you guys should maybe check it out because it's really a comic book movie at this point. The characters are like larger than life now. And
if you listen to the All Talk podcast, which is the podcast done by a lot of the Geekbox Forum regulars, they have an All Talk Watches separate podcast where they've done Twin Peaks and they've done a few other shows. They actually did a series of podcasts on Fast and Furious.
It's a fun series.
The whole series.
I mean, it's never going to win any Oscars. Let's just get this out of the. But it's a fun series, and the characters. It's like watching a TV show in movie format, and the characters are growing and things are happening. I like it. It's fun.
Yeah.
And they literally keep going with the movie. I mean, they had a Marvel type trailer in the last movie, and the characters keep doing new things. It's fun. I mean, it's just fun.
Keeping up with the movie here. This is from Ty on Twitter. We're each going to do this. Let's start with you, Brock. All right, you ready?
Bitch.
You get a movie background. You should know this stuff. Elevator pitch for Justice League.
Elevator pitch for Justice League?
Do it. Elevator pitch.
Elevator pitch.
Yeah.
Yeah, it means you have 2 minutes or
Oh,
less.
2 minutes.
Not
or
even
less,
2
no.
minutes.
Yeah.
Sentence.
Wait.
Couple
Depends how
sentences.
far the elevator goes.
Wait, I have a question. Is it an East Coast elevator or is it a West Coast elevator?
Couple sentences. You're on the 5th floor already, buddy.
Yeah,
You
you're already
gotta
too
hurry
late.
this up.
Charlie.
Hurry this up.
Pitch the Justice League movie?
Pitch to Justice
You
League.
already lost,
It's
dude.
fucking Justice League. Make it.
That's not
how you're gonna win.
What's your pitch? All right, well, think about it.
Yeah, I like how I get thrown on the spot for it. Oh, you can't do it now.
You're the first.
And then everyone else gets plenty of time to think about it while I get blasted.
Okay.
Fuck you. I hate you.
Okay, someone else go. Who's got the Justice League pitch?
If I was going to make a Justice League movie, I'd go probably straight for the Legion of Doom. Just bring in the recognizable bad guys with Lex Luthor and Joker and that kind of stuff, and bring in your nice big three with Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman.
Elevator pitch, baby. Elevator pitch.
Fine. Fucking Super Friends versus Legion of Doom, the movie.
They don't know what that is. Okay, Toby, you know what an elevator pitch is. Let's do this.
Yeah, but I'm horrible at public speaking.
Okay.
I have a weird accent, and I slur my words. No, actually, I would actually... Well, you guys know me. I already said this before. I really do think a Superman-Batman movie should come first.
Yeah.
And I really do like the Paulini version that they did in cartoon format, where they kind of find out each other, and is an awesome Lex Luthor story. I think, personally, that should come first.
Okay.
And then you elevate, and, you go into this bigger format with, the giant thing happening, and then you have the other heroes.
We need the elevator pitch for Justice League. No?
So give it to us.
All right.
Yeah.
5 greatest heroes on Earth, think Avengers, versus the greatest villain in all of time and space.
Yeah, but you're talking to a guy that has no clue about any of this.
But that doesn't matter. You say Avengers, boom, there's your elevator pitch. Simple, one sentence, done.
See, my only problem with starting with Darkseid is...
Where do you go from there?
Yeah, you've already screwed the franchise.
Luthor and Joker. I would say Luthor and Joker are bigger than Darkseid.
See, that's why I start with Superman Batman with Luthor and Joker, and then you go into Darkseid with the rest of the Justice League.
No, I think we're going to make the Justice League movie, and they're going to make it right. It needs to be built.
But 5, not 7.
After...
Sorry, Aquaman and Martian Manhunter, I really love you, but...
No. So we're doing Superman, Batman with Joker and Lex Luthor. Then we do, Avengers. I mean, not Avengers.
Justice League. You do Avengers.
Avengers versus Darkseid. That'll be a movie. No, we do Justice League versus Darkseid. And then I want the next one to be Justice League versus Brainiac / Lex Luthor again.
Someone on one of my...
Where Brainiac is on Lex Luthor's head.
Well, here's actually something kind of funny. What do you guys think about this? One of my friends pointed this out to me earlier today, that Marvel, and it had to be consciously, although Thanos makes a lot of sense, if you were to take maybe the biggest JLA villain, and let's say outside of Luthor, the biggest Superman villain, Darkseid is the biggest JLA villain, right?
Mm-hmm.
So Marvel puts Thanos first. Rumors on Avengers 2, because it's rumors, so I have no idea if this is true or not, but the Collector has been thrown around as a possible character or ties in Guardians of the Galaxy and Avengers 2. This is a character that's been thrown around as being mentioned of, hey, someone related to the Collector, so the Collector could possibly be a character. The Collector sure is a hell of a lot like Brainiac.
Mm-hmm.
Basically just collects a bunch of crap. That's what Brainiac does. The fact that Marvel is maybe intentionally, but possibly on purpose, trolling DC by basically taking what could be their 2 biggest characters and doing them first, their own style of, to basically be like, hey, it's a Justice League movie.
They just copied us.
It's a Superman movie with Brainiac. This is just like the Collector that was this character in the Avengers last year. Yeah, that is really funny.
Well, that's basically what they do with the comics.
But people, I have kids that come in and they're like, the Justice League, is that like DC's Avengers? And I'm like, slap!
I think if you're going to do the Justice League movie, you're going to need you need to build it up. So you need to build up to Darkseid. You can't do Darkseid at the beginning. So it needs to be something where we get some semblance of a really, really big kind of world-stretching event, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
Darkseid.
No, it could be just initial stuff like Gilbert Gottfried. Like you could bring
Gilbert Gottfried,
whatever his name's, right?
Gilbert Gottfried.
Isn't that the guy from
Glorious Godfrey? Gilbert Gottfried's a comedian.
Oh, whatever. Anyway, sorry, my bad.
I'm sorry. That's amazing. I want the Justice League to fight Gilbert Gottfried. Okay, that is the best move. That is your elevator pitch. It's the Justice League versus Gilbert Gottfried. There's your Justice League movie.
There you go. Yeah,
is that
from
how
now
you
on,
end up with Superman 3?
Yes. He replaces. What's his face? Yeah. Oh God, what's always blanked on his name?
Yeah, when I correct you guys, I'm going to be mean from now on.
That's fine.
Sure.
For Justice League 2 and my version, it would be cool not only if Lex Luthor is merging with Brainiac, but also do the Justice of Doom story. Is it Justice of Doom where they figure out Batman's a villain, and so it's not only Lex Luthor's getting stronger, but the Justice League is falling apart.
Well, that's kind of what, if I was going to design the trilogy, I would do the Legion of Doom, followed by Darkseid, followed by something sort of Kingdom Come-esque, or basically do a little bit more of the not everybody's on one side, but they're all kind of good guys kind of story for the last one.
Yeah, I mean, I think it just depends. I mean, you need to have something where if it is a team versus a team, then you need to have the counterparts. I mean, I don't know about you guys, but I'd love to see the Justice League go up against like Cyborg or Superman or like the Anti-Monitor or...
Well, I don't like it when it's a singular... I mean, you have a team.
Well, no, not...
like it's either got to be super crazy or it can't be just one villain.
The problem with Glorious Godfrey... the problem with Glorious Godfrey is although leading up to Darkseid, it's basically, none of the heroes on Earth trust you, and blah, blah, blah. It's like, we've been through that story so many times. I don't want to see that as a starting Justice League movie.
But no, I'm not saying like that is the initial thing. I'm saying you build with that.
Justice League 1 uses Darkseid because that's a big character, but the public don't know him, but it's a big spectacle. Justice League 2 uses Luthor and Joker because of their named characters. That's why that works. 3, I don't know. I don't know what you do for 3.
I don't know.
You have Gilbert Gottfried?
Yeah.
We should think this through, and we should all have our pitch, and then we can have the listeners pick which one is the best one. We can make it a mini contest.
Yeah. All right. Well, unless anyone else is going to add to this, we're going to.
We should. Yeah, I know. He does this little wipe smile.
That's okay. We'll just check the forums tomorrow. I'm pretty sure people have chimed in by now.
2 people will chime in.
We got a ton of questions this week, so there's a bunch of people. Sorry I didn't get to read your questions. He's
not
more.
sorry.
Oh, I am sorry.
He's not.
We have way more questions than we have time to answer.
That's why he deletes his email.
Yeah.
No, these are on Twitter.
Well, he also deleted his phone. He just doesn't like anybody.
No.
He's like, fuck everyone.
All right,
you can call me. I won't call you.
If you want to talk to us and send us emails, you can.
Hey, how'd you still have my number?
Me.
Oh yeah, I got your number from Charlie.
I was like, wait a minute, he called me to that. How'd you do that?
I still got some numbers from like Facebook. You can link a lot of stuff up. But
he's been messaging me every couple of days. Hey, do you have so and so's number?
Yeah, because I kept there were random people that I forgot I didn't have the numbers for anymore. Well, if you like this episode and you want to hear all of our other episodes, we are done. You can go to www.geekbox.net or comicsconspiracy.biz. You can go on forums.geekbox.net and talk to our forum regulars on there. Go post in the Comic Conspiracy thread and go talk to people, whatever we're talking about. You can go to... you can also email us there. There's a contact us form, or at thecomicconspiracy@geekbox.net. You can send us there. We all got random crap we do on the side besides the store. Brock's got conspiratorBrock.com and go there. Omar, who hopefully should be joining us next week, is at comicsanddecline.com. Charlie's got the Infinite Longbox podcast. That's infinitelongbox.com.
I like how it goes Infinite
Longbox. We're all on Twitter. Ryan Higgins Ryan. Brock Sager. Comics and Decline is Omar. Toby XI is Toby. Insanity and Chaos is Charlie. Larson Bryce is Bryce Larson. I think Bryce will probably be back on next week, maybe. We'll have him on soon.
Free Comic Book Day is
Free Comic Book Day is Saturday. If you're around the Bay Area, come visit us and get some free comic books. No, not every comic on the wall is free. The comics that are free are the ones clearly marked free on the display counter in the shelves right around us.
Every time you say that, every year, I think of that scene in Clerks where that person standing for how much is this? And it's like there's these huge flashing signs behind them.
We will have a bunch of cheap comics outside. I think $0.25 a piece. Those will be. I just haven't.
I love how you say "I think" because it's like if somebody's going to know how much these comics outside are going to be, it should be you.
I just haven't narrowed down what price we're going to do them at because it's still the same stuff we have from the last sale. But I don't know if I'm going to go straight to a quarter yet because this is a lot of the books we're still giving money to
Just
Sam's
do 50
family.
cents and do better tiers.
Yeah, possibly. So I want to try to get them some more money if we can. Other than that, digital.comicsconspiracy.biz, and go buy your digital comics on there if you want. Every purchase on that site supports the store. We get a little kickback. So
Even when you download free.
No.
I kind of don't like the term kickback.
Yeah, we get money every time you buy something.
They get a
on there.
royalty.
You support the store by buying on digital.comicsconspiracy.biz.
No, they support the store.
Yeah. The money goes to me. The money then goes to
Bookshelves.
you and bookshelves. Oh, and the great reorganization. Maybe I should link live blog.
No, it's going to be hashtag the great rejiggering.
Oh, Jesus Christ!
Can I say something to the listeners here?
What?
Shut your face.
Okay, shut your face, listeners. That's what Brock wants you to know.
God, Ryan. I was going to say, probably next time you hear me, I will be the father of a new daughter. So.
Yes. Yay, kids.
Ryan actually really gives a shit. No,
kids that hopefully will give me money in 18 to 20 years. All right, sounds good.
Or at least my old comic books when I'm dead. Yeah. Then you'll have to sort through them.
Kid is going to come and bring him back. Hey, Mr.
Another pair of hands to...
My dad had all of these in his back.
I'll give you a nickel, kid. Another kid to get put sticky hands all over my fucking shit.
How much are these worth?
Yeah.
How much is the Spawn #1 worth?
Yeah, exactly. Except it's going to be Angela #1. It'll be worth a lot because she's at Marvel. All right, I'm going to go ahead and wrap up now. This episode's done. We're over. Go watch Iron Man.
We are over.
Go watch Iron Man 3. Go support
Which
Free
may
Comic
also
Day.
be over.
Go support Free Comic Day. And there's a bunch of other stuff. Have fun.
Go watch the Warriors.
No, don't do that.
Yes, and the Bulls.
Okay.